So, Saturday night's main event is this Saturday, obviously, as my voice for some reason imploded into dust. Have the card up here on my screen for reasons you didn't need to know. I didn't need to tell you that, and we're going to go through and we're going to predict it, my friends. And if I even get one match right, I'm going to be a happy panda. Now, of course, I am doing this way before SmackDown. It should be Monday that this goes live. So we should start with the Women's United States Championship Tournament. Because on this week's episode of SmackDown, I don't think it was taped. I mean, I don't know any spoilers. We have semi-finals of Bayley versus Chelsea Green and Michin versus Tiffany Stratton. Now, on the one hand, when you look at this, Tiffany Stratton versus Bayley in the final does make all the sense in the world. And actually, now I have said that out loud, my prediction would be Bayley. But as I've told you since day one, we have to manifest Chelsea Green into this position. And there is a flip side to this. I think WWE's booked it very, very well. Because the last time we saw Chelsea Green and Michin, what happened? They were in the dumpster match. Who won? Michin. So you could also run that back too. And given that Bayley is Bayley, like even Cody Rhodes said this in a recent interview, she's like a locker room leader. She's been around a while. Everyone looks up to her. She's an absolute hero. You could figure out a way to get her out of this tournament. Well, you can argue it both ways. If she wins it, that belt instantly gets credibility because it's Bayley. But if you can come out of a way to take her out of the thing, she's Bayley. She's going to be fine. She's always going to be fine. And obviously, Tiffany Stratton can lose. That's WWE's favorite thing in the world. If you are the Money in the Bank champion, that's not what we call it. Holder would be a better word. They often will book you to lose, and then you cash in your Money in the Bank so nobody cares. But Tiffany Stratton obviously did win last week because she won the triple threat match between Naomi and Elektra Lopez. And given that Tiffany Stratton is sort of, we know we were in Minnesota, which was her hometown, but she basically is a babyface. She gets a pretty good reaction wherever she goes. If we aren't going to turn Naomi, which doesn't have to be for any time soon, if she is the person that tapped Jade Cargill, Naomi could get involved here and cost Tiffany Stratton, and you can argue it, or you can even use it as sort of like a storytelling beat. We're like, well, that's a very interesting thing for a babyface to do, but little known to us, she's actually a heel now. So I am going to say it's Chelsea Green versus Michin. I'm doubling down on it, and probably with the help with Piper Niven, they will screw over Michin. Chelsea Green will become the first ever United States Women's Champion, and she's going to get the biggest pop ever. Because I think deep down in our Tootsie Toes, we all know that Chelsea Green is brilliant, and we all want to celebrate her. And also, I think it would be nice moving into the end of the year, because in terms of, not most improved, but I don't know what you'd call it really, surprise of the year, no, because we already were aware. Just somebody that's taken 2024 and totally smashed it. Chelsea Green would be in that category. Long story short, I'm going with Chelsea Green. If I book the semi-finals right as well, finally you have to put some respect on my name. You don't. I'm an idiot. No one should be giving me anything. Someone said to me the other day, Simon, you lack credibility. And I was like, yes. Well, that's no big revelation. Who thinks I have credibility? If you do, more power to you. You're definitely not my mum and dad. The point is this. The final is going to be Michin versus Chelsea Green, and I am plumping for Chelsea Green. We're also going to have a Women's Championship match, which is Liv Morgan versus Iyo Sky. I like Iyo Sky. I think Iyo Sky is brilliant. I think in many ways, Iyo Sky could be the first ever Intercontinental Women's Champion over on Raw. But do I think she's going to win here? No. No, I don't. I can't see it happening in any fashion, because the person to take the belt off Liv Morgan should be Rhea Ripley. I mean, that's a discussion, maybe a video all of its own. I think it's nice that we have done this, because again, if we go through it, we have the first ever United Championship for the women, then we have the Women's WWE, the World Championship match, then we have the Men's World Heavyweight Championship match, and we have the WWE title match between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. So in terms of trying to stack up Saturday night's main event and tell you this is an event you want to go out of your way to see, and we're kind of treating it like another pay-per-view, PLE, yes, you should have got that on here, but I think it's probably going to be a match that goes number 2 or number 3. They'll be brilliant. Iyo Sky will kick Liv Morgan's ass. Raquel Rodriguez will get involved. Rhea Ripley will absolutely get involved. Maybe other members of Judgment Day get involved again to get more star power onto the thing. But Liv Morgan will eventually win. And then, I mean, if I was going to put a gun to my own head, which would be weird because I can just, reveal my own opinions without having to put myself under such stress, it wouldn't surprise me. This Netflix show on the January 6th, everybody is going, oh my gosh, it's going to be like a mini WrestleMania. I'm sure they're getting it out there for hyperbole and to make sure you tune in. But you want to do some title changes on that show. So we've got like 3 weeks-ish after Saturday night's main event. Before that event, I would just build to Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan, figure out a way you're going to get it done, put the belt on Rhea Ripley. If you do get a big boost in numbers, promotion-wise, you're telling people that Rhea is our guy, we're going to go with her, and then just make her have the 2025 she was probably meant to have in 2024. So it'll be enjoyable, it'll be fun. I like Iyo Sky being in this position, but there isn't really a lot else to say about it, not in a bad way. It's just kind of come from nowhere. I mean, Iyo Sky won that match sort of a month ago, whenever the hell it was, but Liv Morgan will win. Pretty confident about this one. It's kind of similar for Gunther versus Finn Balor 2 for the World Heavyweight title. I think there's a rumor going around that Finn Balor's in for a mega push in 2025. That gets me excited. I think Finn is one of the most underrated and maybe under-talked about people in WWE. I think we forgot what Finn Balor did as Prince Devitt or Fergal Devitt, you want to call him, in New Japan and his indie scene. You know, he still is a huge deal, but he was a huge deal in 2014. There's a reason we made him the first ever, was it Universal Champion at the time, whatever we called that belt. And then very unfortunately, he did get injured. But I think he is a Triple H guy, which I think is important. And given there is going to be a lot of shifts around, like so many people are going to go to Raw and a bunch of people are going to go to SmackDown in this transfer portal, whatever we're calling it, I think we should move Finn Balor to SmackDown and make him a focal part of that show. That does not mean that I think he's going to win here. But if we move Cody to Raw and we move Gunther to SmackDown, then maybe there is something we can do with this a little bit long term. Doesn't mean you have to do a 3-match series, but it can just be something that kind of, rests beneath the surface, or, some better term than that that makes more sense. I think this is going to be very similar to the Liv Morgan versus Iyo Sky match. Damian Priest has to get involved. And while it's a little bit obvious, maybe a little bit, I won't say boring, because it won't be boring, it'll be fun, but maybe it's a bit too on the nose. Sometimes I just like things to make sense. So even though Finn Balor hadn't done much with Damian Priest at the last show, and then he comes in and screws him over with Gunther, he would do that. Why would you interrupt him in 2 championship match on the third and go, nah, this is too much for a story. Let's try and take wrestling for what it's meant to be, or act like wrestling is, on the up and up. It's something that a human being would do. He had a motivation. It wasn't like the gobbledygooker came out and cost Damian Priest. So Damian Priest has to get his revenge. And then once again, I think you get to that January 6th show and you have the proper blow-off match between Damian Priest and Finn Balor. You can make it a Falls Count anywhere. You can maybe make it a hardcore match, depending on how much you want to push that envelope too. But you're not going to take the belt off Gunther at this moment. And again, I think we're about to get the old switcheroo. I think that's why Gunther was on SmackDown, because if we now consider Raw to be the A show, which they have to on Netflix, that the deal is just too big, WWE still sees the WWE title as the big title, especially because the World Heavyweight Championship is, 2 years old? Whatever the hell it is. So if Cody goes over there, Gunther could go the other side, but he will be the champion. Like, I would love it if Finn Balor had a short run as the title holder, which could happen next year if we properly push him. I mean, he's going to leave the Judgment Day. Do we put him back to being a babyface? Does he become the Demon again? Let's not forget, we've never seen the Demon in WWE that wasn't the Vince McMahon version, which was a bit pants. Let's just call it for what it was. I mean, it's still a cool presentation, but you just pop up. Oh, hi there. I'm the Demon now. Like your neighbor was just walking around in like spooky clothes. So there is something to this, but maybe him losing to Gunther is sort of the end of the current Finn Balor that we know. He'll leave the Judgment Day. Maybe feud with them a little bit too, but yes, Gunther will win, courtesy of an interaction, or interference, I should say, from Damian Priest, and that's fine. Maybe that pisses Gunther off even more. Maybe we move Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and Gunther to SmackDown, and Gunther can be like, you're an idiot, and you're an idiot. I'm trying to be the honorable champion, and your beef is pissing me off. And maybe you do a triple threat match. Who's going to get mad at that? Gunther versus Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. I would actually argue that could be more exciting than just Finn versus Damian, because we have seen it, and we have seen offshoots of the other ones as well, because we're going to get it this Saturday. And Gunther has absolute just cause for doing that, because again, his honor is being stolen away by a bunch of Judgment Day assholes. But once again, I think that one title could change hands. I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. But it ain't going to be Gunther. Gunther going to win. Now, there is going to be a 5th match. I imagine it's going to be, well, I'm doing this before Raw, so maybe it actually gets invented before Raw. I kind of think it has to be something with the US title. So maybe I'll just throw a bunch out there to try and get ahead of the game. If it's LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura, I think LA Knight will win that championship back, unless he gets screwed over by the Bloodline. I don't know. It's a very difficult thing to kind of operate within right now, because Andrade was involved in that too. So maybe we do some kind of, like, again, complete speculation of madness here, but Jacob Fatu versus Andrade versus LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the US title. It'd be pretty good. I mean, I kind of felt like you have to give it to Jacob Fatu if you did do that, but again, there's 2 other people that can take the pin, so you can move away from it. And you could do Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre did boot him right in the face, so it depends how quickly Sami wants to be like, excuse me, I need some revenge. But again, we do have this Netflix show, there's just a few weeks there, and I don't think you need to pull the trigger that quickly, because it's only been 7 days ago and Drew's going to have to explain himself. However, if we did do that match too, I think Drew McIntyre would win. I think Jey Uso will get involved with that as well. I can't think of anything else there could be, so we'll just leave it there, and we'll go into Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. Now, I accidentally annoyed the internet a few weeks ago when I did a casual quote tweet. I wasn't trying to piss anybody off. I think Kevin Owens should win this match. And no, it's not because I think Cody's... This the replies you get. Oh, it's because you think Cody had a bad title run. Nope, Cody Rhodes is probably my wrestler of the year. I think he's having a wonderful title run. He comes across like an old school champion, and that in itself feels fresh because we haven't had that for a while. It's not because I dislike Cody himself. Cody's one of my favorite wrestlers. I think I've just kind of repeated myself there. I just look at the story, and once again, I look at this looming Raw 6th show. Why can't Kevin Owens hold that belt for 3 weeks? People go, WrestleMania is too close. WrestleMania is 5 months away. We're in December, January, February, March, April. Okay, 4.5 months away because it's quite late in April. 4 months? That is not close. I understand the Royal Rumble, we start building the road to WrestleMania, but the Royal Rumble's in February. We have a January show to get through. Nobody, let's say we do The Rock versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. No one, apart from that one guy, is going to go, oh, well, Cody versus The Rock doesn't feel as important anymore because Kevin Owens held the title for 3 weeks. BS, man. Especially because we have now teased something with Sami Zayn too. Maybe that is a thing that we do here. I do not know. Or maybe Kevin wins the belt and he loses the belt and he's so mad, he's like, Sami Zayn, I'm going to kill you. And we get back into that feud, which I totally believe would be pitched way better in this brand new version of WWE. I don't think it affects Cody at all. I think he's a way bigger star. Took the belt off Austin. Austin won the belt in March 1998. March 1998, and he lost it 4 months later. And then he won it back 24 hours later. And nobody cared because people were into Steve Austin. Looking at the numbers and hearing the noise, I think people feel that way about Cody Rhodes as well. Kevin Owens has just hit home run after home run after home run. And it comes back to the thing I always talk about, which is so boring. I know, Simon, shut your face, go look in the mirror and look at your bald head. But to really justify Kevin Owens taking this new path, this new direction, him being a world champion, even for 72 hours, would be the greatest thing ever. I think you get a massive reaction in the building. And I think you take Saturday night's main event and you tell people it's not like the one that we rebranded 10 years ago, whenever it was. It's more like the 80s one. This is a big deal. We're going to change belts. We're going to change the biggest of all belts. And then you get to finish that Netflix show too. You could do this. I understand I'm getting carried away here. But you could have Cody Rhodes win it back, then if you smell, and out comes The Rock. And Roman Reigns is there too, having a cup of tea. I do not think that's a bad idea. If Cody Rhodes wins, I'm not going to be mad. But I just think Kevin Owens has found himself in the right place at the right time. His character is so good, and the way that he holds himself and the way he can deal with anything is of such a level, he will not be affected by losing that championship within a month. In fact, he'll use it to fuel this character. You're going to get people chatting online. You're going to get a bunch of noise, which sometimes is good, especially going into the year and coming into this brand new thing where you do have this Netflix show. And I just think saying you're going to do Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens round 2 for that championship as you do move on to Netflix is going once again to get more people talking. So I'm saying it. And no, stop putting the negative Nancy things out your behind. Oh, it's because, no, it's not. I just think it would be awesome. I think it would be fun. That's what pro wrestling is there to do. It ties into nothing else. I'm looking at it purely from an entertainment perspective where we are allowed to fantasy book. So I'm going with Kevin Owens. And yes, Kevin Owens is my modern day GOAT, so maybe I'm biased. But I think Cody Rhodes is terrific. I think one of the reasons WWE got back to the levels it did do, in part, is due to Cody Rhodes coming back to WWE. That's how much I think of the man. And as always, I throw out there too, one day all the things he has done for the wrestling business will get out there. We'll be like, oh my gosh, you American nightmare. You're actually a lovely nightmare instead. So, I'm doing it. Go with Kevin Owens. That could be stupid. You're allowed to yell at me in the comments. That's what the comments are there for. But the comments are also there for to let me know your predictions. And there's maybe a match that's obvious that I'm not thinking of right now. Maybe do a tag team match. Maybe the New Day could get in there. Maybe we can do a repeat between DIY and the Machine Guns. The Street Profits will want revenge. So I don't think we'll change any more titles. So if we do any other championship matches or something with Nia Jax potentially, I think, again, the only brand new title champions we will get is the US title for the women. And, well, I've said it now, so I'll go with it. And Kevin Owens being the champion. Is there anything else that gets in there? Maybe I'll try and drop a pinned comment below as well. Make sure you do it too. Otherwise, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen. That's me telling you who's going to be in the Royal Rumble. I speculated on that one as well. And if you are into fitness supplements, it's GorillaMind.com/Simon. Make sure you use the code Simon to get 10% off. If you go to my social media now, Simon316, find my code for the upcoming Progress shows on the 27th of December. You will get money off tickets there for both standing and sitting. Otherwise, we've done social media. Simon Miller on Cameo if you would like a random video. Message Simon J. Miller on the TikTok. ProWrestlingTees.com/Simon Miller for t-shirts that I'm not wearing today because I'm a bad promoter. Close the laptop you can't see. Enjoy the show, my friends. That's what wrestling is there for. Now, see you soon.